Okay, good afternoon. So we are live on Facebook. My name is Eva Jakobson-Belomi, and I'm kind of like the head of this very fantastic, like very challenging project, like introducing Latvia and bringing Latvia's name to Africa. Let me tell you a little bit more about our community, SLV. We are a diaspora organization, Latvian diaspora organization, uniting Latvian professionals, academics, scientists, and also entrepreneurs. And our idea is to connect, first of all, diaspora organizations and diaspora people, Latvians overseas, with Latvia and Latvian challenges and Latvian incentives and Latvian initiatives to bring our name across the world. Plus, also, we want to also help and assist, Latvian government and Latvian organizations to profile Latvia, first of all, as a very entrepreneurial country. And I'm going to be very humble, as it is not the case for Latvians to be humble, that we have one of the most solid, and very one of the most supporting startup legislation in the whole world. And that's what we want to also bring to Africa to say, we have done it, we have came from Soviet Union, in 30 years, we have become one of the wealthiest and one of the most economically advanced countries in the world. And of course, so this project has been supported by the Latvian Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And I want to thank my colleagues Egils and Ilze for this support, today as well. And of course, we wouldn't be able to launch and execute this project with our fantastic colleagues in Namibia, Business Financial Solutions, particularly, and also Zambia Development Agency on the ground. But of course, that has been assisted, very, very nicely, and very efficiently and effectively by Namibian Embassy in Helsinki and also the Zambian Embassy in Stockholm. Let me give you some insights as regards this project. This is the first development cooperation project of Latvia in Africa, and we at SLV community, we are very proud to be part of this first project in Africa. The project is based on threefold aims. So first of all, we want to share our entrepreneurial spirit and entrepreneurial knowledge with the girls and young female entrepreneurs in Africa. And that's why we chose two fantastic countries in sub-Saharan Africa, Zambia and Namibia, to pilot this project. And together with Riga Business School, we spent already a week in Zambia and Namibia training young ladies, advising them how to solve the problems, how to seize the problems, and how to find solutions to these problems. That's going to be continued next year as well. And all the girls who participated in Windhoek and also in Lusaka, they are welcome to join Riga Business School Special Certificate Training Program for 4 months. And they're going to be studying together with Riga Business School students. So this is our third aim, actually, the third focus of the project. Understanding the globalization is not about one country's development. It's basically, the whole world's development together. We want to connect and build a platform for these young ladies in Africa and for the students of Riga Business School to connect and form already the first international networks. Maybe, through all this project, and that's our hope and dream, there will be strong multinational companies from Zambia and Namibia working across European continent and also having on board the people from Latvia. So that's the third aim of our project. But in between, Latvia has been lucky enough, to be strong and be very efficient, creating fantastic economic transformation process in the last 30 years. As I said, we have been part of the command economy in the Soviet Union. And in the last 30 years, we transformed our country to become the EU member country, to become one of the OECD wealthiest countries in the world. In addition, we are a very strong member of the NATO alliance as well. So in this spectrum, I think we have a lot of knowledge and experience to share with our colleagues in Namibia and Zambia. And throughout that week we spent in Lusaka and Windhoek, we shared also our experience with trade officials, civil servants, interested parties how we did it, economic transformation, like business environment development, also more kind of like practical things, how to do the export, and how to market their products and services in international markets. And of course, my personal passion, I think also our team's personal passion was to elevate and empower women to do the things, and from the management perspective, we can see that the management theory all over the world is changing, and we are getting in a more stakeholder capitalism mood, where we think that it's not just the duty of the companies to make profit, but also to take care of our stakeholders, of the people, of children, or seniors, and NGOs as well. So that was our main aim of the project down there in Africa, where we spent a really interesting time, and we were welcomed very nicely in Zambia and also in Namibia. But as a doer, I'm less about talking, I'm more about doing. And that's why I want to give a floor actually to introduce the Ministry of Foreign Affairs policies as regard to the development cooperation, and also let the ambassador, Namibian ambassador in Helsinki, and also Jackie from Zambian embassy in Stockholm, to talk about the cooperation opportunities in these countries, which might be very important and very interesting for the future for Latvian companies, for Nordic European companies, and hopefully also for European companies. So I want to give a floor to my dear colleague, ex-colleague, Mr. Egil Zelme, who will be talking about the Ministry of Foreign Affairs perspectives, on this project and importance of Latvia connecting and sharing experiences with African countries. Egil, lūdzu.
Well, Liz, thank you very much. Your Excellencies, Ambassador Joseph, Ambassador Madame Habene, organizers, partners, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, good afternoon. It is my great honor and pleasure to kick off this event, which is part of Latvia's first bilateral project in Namibia and Zambia, as well as an important step towards a deeper and closer partnership between Latvia and the two African countries. For me personally, it is a project that is very close to my heart. For the last several years, I have been working with human rights in general, and also with gender equality and women empowerment in particular. Therefore, I see the great value of it. It is a bilateral Latvian project, but it is also a European project. We are part of the wider EU. As President von der Leyen said this year, President of the European Commission, in her State of the Union speech, that empowering women will benefit of all of us in Europe, but also globally. And this effort, this Latvian project with Namibia and Zambia, is also part of a wider Team Europe effort. Because EU members are a team, and the effort of each member of us makes the whole picture for the EU. And our hope is to spread our values and our successes and show the beauty of our work to as many people as we can. Building women's entrepreneurial skills and contributing to development of an inclusive and sustainable business and entrepreneurial environment, so that it is equal standards, equal involvement, equal pay among men and women, is one of our main priorities. Not only in Latvia, it is also one of the main priorities of the whole European Union. You can ask any European official what the main priorities are. They will tell you gender equality, women empowerment. I think that will be the first answer they will give you. So it was a great delight that a couple of weeks ago, young girls in Namibia and Zambia participated in boot camps in order to boost their entrepreneurial skills, to generate new business ideas. And it is important that this is done locally, because they know the best how to adjust these practices, these best practices, to the realities and economic challenges in their own countries, isn't it? Therefore, and I'm so happy that it is not a one-off. So next year, these young entrepreneurs will have an opportunity to develop their business ideas and skills further with the guidance from internationally recognized experts from Riga Business School. So we are so proud that we can share this knowledge. It is my personal hope that this project will continue and many more girls and women from Namibia, Zambia, and other African countries would be able to join this program. Because we believe that this project brings a great value to those people, to those women and girls who are involved, and that they will spread this knowledge, and they will spread the effect, and it will snowball and benefit your countries. Alongside the boot camps, the Latvian experts participated, as Eva also just said, in the workshops in Lusaka and Windhoek, sharing our Latvian experience in policy planning, public participation, and various reforms with participants of your institutions. Not only business, policy planning and public participation is a key to participate in democratic processes, to make your own destinies, not someone who is in the government or above you, but you yourself, you rule your own destiny. We have this feeling here in Latvia, and we hope that people elsewhere can have it. So these workshops, they were instrumental in showing that there are plenty of opportunities in many areas for cooperation, in education, in energy, in digitalization, clean technologies, rule of law, gender equality, regional development, effective running of enterprises, including SMEs, you name it. So Latvia's strong suit is our technological know-how, our technical know-how and reform experience. Our expertise has been widely appreciated in our priority regions of Central Asia and Eastern Partnership, because historically we are connected to these regions and very close. But now we are also expanding to African continent. Within 2 decades, I will just echo also what Eva just said. In 2 decades, Latvia has become a strong advocate because of our history. We have become a strong advocate of democratic transition processes, of effective elections. We just had one, and our new cabinet is starting to work soon. So we have effective and peaceful transition of power, which makes our country effective and modern, and it can have all these good qualities as smart governance solutions, socio-economic change, and gender equality. So I'm really certain that this project will also serve as a starting point for Latvian implementers' wider activities, not only in Namibia and Zambia, but as well with other parties across Africa. Of course, we have our capacities and limitations, so we will have to see. But I really have the hope that this will expand. So I would like to thank the organizer SCLV, Latvian Business School, and the partners in Namibia and Zambia for their enormous efforts during this first phase, because the first phase is the most important. It's the inception of this project, and it was quite successful, as I hear. This first phase that this project is facilitating closer cooperation between Latvia and Namibia and Zambia. Therefore, dear friends, I wish you the best of luck during the next stage of this cooperation. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Egios. And I would love to echo, like on one specific thing you mentioned, that is not Latvian project as such. It's a European project, right? And I think when we look at Europe and Africa, there is a fantastic similarity which we can see actually developing in the last years. European Union, we are single market, right? Like where we have 4 freedoms, and we are very proud as Europeans to have all of these freedoms, to travel, to work, to trade, right? And last year, on the 1st of January, against all the headwinds of nationalism and protectionism, Africa introduced and opened its African continental free trade area, right? And it's not functional, operated in all the continental countries, but they are working, Africa is working very heavily, to implement that and actually also build a single market across African continent. And I think this is also one of the things why we chose to look at Africa, because that means that there will be more possibilities for young women, young female entrepreneurs to build their businesses, Pan-African businesses, right? And if we look statistically, maybe currently, employment in Africa is scarce, but once you have the skills and tools to build your own enterprise, to innovate, you become not just in charge of your life, but you also can give an employment to other people. So basically with this, we hope that we're gonna give the skills to these young female entrepreneurs, but also these young female entrepreneurs give the possibility to get employed for other people, right? So I think this is a great cooperation between European Union and Africa as such, and we hope that African continental free trade area gonna flourish and become really successful. But I think we also have to look at these 2 countries. What are the cooperation opportunities between Latvia, Nordic European countries, and Baltic, and these countries particularly? So that's why I want to open more kind of practical session with insights and cooperation and give a floor to His Excellency Charles Joseph, the Namibian ambassador in Helsinki. Charles, you have been very helpful in creating this, in actually kind of making this project to happen. So my personal thanks to you. And Charles, I'm going to give you the floor to talk about the opportunities for cooperation in Namibia. Thank you so much, Your Excellency.
Thank you. Thank you, Prof. And you're very welcome. I certainly can only say that you are the pusher of all things, and it was possible for me to come in and assist you in my own small way, in line with my duties. I want to greet all the colleagues, my fellow ambassador in Sweden, and the colleagues in Riga. I see there are colleagues from Windhoek that have joined us also, colleagues from Lusaka, perhaps, yes. I'm happy to be part of this webinar, to really cement this relationship. It has started off as a small project, and I see it mothballing into a huge project for Namibia and also for Zambia. And I was quite excited to see the participation of our people as you were running those boot camps. That as it may be, I think we can just start to say that Namibia and Latvia has got a few things that draws them closer to each other. In terms of population size, I think Latvia is slightly smaller than Namibia, 1.8 million as opposed to 2.6 million. Land size, Latvia equally about 65 1,000 square kilometers. Namibia, huge, 827,000 square kilometers. But in terms of the economy, Latvia is a high-income country, whereas Namibia is upper middle income country. But if you look at the size of the economy, Latvia about a $40 billion economy, Namibia $26 billion economy. So there's this compatibilities that we look at when we think of cooperating partners at state level. Of course, Latvia also became, for another time now, independent 1991. Namibia became independent 1990. So there's another level there also of compatibility. Both countries started their economies almost from a point where they had now to build a state, the Latvian state, the Namibian state. Sorry. And that also comes from a shared history of almost colonialism, if I can call it that, that you had now also to build your own state and also be your own country, with a lot of expectations coming from your people, as much as it is on our side that we had those expectations. I always look at the Gini coefficient that measures inequality in states. Latvia is at 0.35, Namibia is 0.59. Namibia, second most unequal society that you have, and 0.35, you are still not there yet. There's still room for that equality and equity to be achieved in society. So for us, we look at these variables and say, maybe they already form a basis for cooperation. What is it that you as a nation is doing? What is it that Namibia as a nation is doing? How can we cooperate to see whether we can give each other advice on how best to achieve the things that would make our societies better societies. The money is there. The money needs to be shared in ways that equity can be achieved, that greater equality can be achieved. I think you are in a better position than we are, and we, from the cooperation that we have seen already, I think you hit the ground running. Once you announced the project and rolled it out, we could see your activities. But I must just add right at the onset that proximity has always been a problem for our countries, and we have realized that it can no longer be a problem. There are technological innovations that have allowed us to interact without being in each other's countries, but there is also the transport mechanisms that are there. Both Namibia and Latvia are coastal states, so we are having this potential to be able to be linked through air and through the waters. So there's really enough scope for cooperation in that regard. And as some of you may know, there's already cooperation that has been mooted through the SME ISIL project that sought to look at cooperation in the maritime field, in the logistics field, and see how, and of course also in the shipbuilding field, and see how countries from the Baltic states and Finland could be linked together with Namibia in these areas to cooperate. And some companies have already indicated their interest to cooperate in those areas. Of course, COVID came in between and people were not able to move. But now that we have got a handle on it, I think people are starting to move and people are starting to engage. And your engagement is one of those that showed us that we can now start to move and be traveling to Namibia and to Zambia to indeed engage. How many areas of cooperation can we talk about? It's probably a lot of areas. It's only imagination that can limit us. You look at Namibia. Namibia is a huge country with huge potential. You can start with tourism. Just that is probably the easier one. And we've already seen as a mission that citizens from the Baltic region, Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania, have been traveling to Namibia on holidays. Now, holidaying is the food, the first food that you put in on the ground to really understand the environment. And then after that, people are going back again to see where can they put their money, or where can they achieve cooperation and partnerships. So tourism as a sector is one that you can explore. Marine resources, of course, I've already spoken about the shipbuilding part. We have got a boat that was built in this region that is helping us in marine management. There is also a big salt company that is looking at the options of exporting salt to this part of the region. We are very excited about the energy sector, renewable energy. I think Eagles has talked about renewable energy as one thing that Latvia is also engaged in, and solar energy is what we are looking at. And you may have heard about the green hydrogen projects that are in the offing. All those are opportunities in which solar investments can be made in the solar sector, and ultimately that it can be linked with those bigger projects. As I said, gas and oil is also another thing that we are excited about now that the finds have been made in Namibia. Those that are in charge would ultimately be able to do the exports to this region. We are also looking at agriculture. Your beef, mutton, and grapes are doing very well in the Namibian economy. We are looking at markets for these products in the Baltic countries, and Latvia can probably, because you've already been to Namibia, see how best you can be the first one to benefit from those opportunities there. Technology, we know that Latvia has made a great headway in information technology. 5G technology is the in thing at this stage, and I think, and we know and have been told that you've also made great progress in that. So that's another area of cooperation. Namibia is eager to upgrade its telecoms infrastructure and capabilities. That is something that you can look at. Now all these things happen once we get to that point where the bilateral relationship is doing well. We can move forward and do the trade and free movement of people much easily. And to that point, I think it is good news to know that just a few, maybe 2 weeks back, on the 25th of October, we had these political consultations between our 2 ministries of international relations, and those are door openers that would eventually set the policy framework for greater cooperation. Cooperation is there, and if institutions like yours, Prof, is able to really look at the good bilateral relationship that is already there and piggyback on that and do what you can do and want to do, that is what makes us very happy. So we in due course would be setting out specific areas. And now I'm thinking education is an equalizer. We say education is an equalizer in any society. And that is usually the low-hanging fruits that we want to first get our hands onto. Education, and in education, we're looking at not only degreed education, but cooperation in areas that you are now, or the way that you are already doing it, just to make people aware that these are possibilities that you can pursue. As Latvia, we have done this for our people, and we have achieved greater equity and equality in our society because we have empowered women. I think that kind of thinking is already just a start, and then you can then slowly but surely go forward in going into formal education, your vocational education, formal education, and cooperation between institutions can eventually take place. Sometimes we say that money is what keeps us from doing things, but it need not. Just cooperation and with the technology that is available, cooperation can take place without a lot of money being spent. And it's just the idea that needs to go forward. So Latvia has got quite a number of universities. Latvia has got quite a number of state colleges, non-university type colleges, vocational schools. So we need to look at, as Namibia, for instance, we need to look at those institutions that are there and see how best can our institutions cooperate with them, or even how best can we facilitate the access of our people to those institutions. Luckily, the language is not a major obstacle. So we can see whether for instance, if Kona's institution is able to really get people to, in her own sector, to go to this university or to liaise with these universities, colleges, and vocational schools, and upskill themselves, that would be good. Of course, on a greater scale, we are looking at cooperation and trade between countries. Namibia is perhaps not a big economy, and many a times people look at this particular variable and say that, well, it's not a ready-made market, therefore I cannot. But we should move away from that kind of thinking. When you invest as Latvian companies, when you invest in Namibia, you are Namibia is a doorway into SACU. It's a doorway into SADC, and it's a doorway into the greater African continent. As I said, we are coastal states. If it's about volumes, you can access through that. We've got a port that is modern, that is very secure. In fact, Zambia and Zimbabwe has got dry ports in Walvis Bay. So we are already meeting each other on that score right here. So the access is there, and the environment that we have created as a country, in terms of your business framework, investment framework, it is there, and we are ready to receive investors from Latvia. We are ready to receive business people that will come and set up partnerships with Namibians, and ultimately with the SADC region. The interest is there. It's just a matter of now really working on policy frameworks and just making people aware of these opportunities. I think you have done a good job already with your own program, and hopefully in the not too distant future we'll see how Latvians are a common household name in Namibia, and would be able to say Latvian companies are here and we are cooperating with them. Your program, I just want to really congratulate you once more on your achievements. As I said, the boot camps have been very, I've seen the images, I've seen the conversations that were going on, and I can certainly say that people were excited, quite excited, and I want to see the second part of that next year, and hopefully we'll take it from there and move forward. Once again, thank you.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency. I actually wanted to praise our Namibian partners, like where we always think that like we Northern European countries are very empowering, so we have the gender equality, like Latvia is a very strong country where women are empowered in the parliament, in the government, like in the businesses. But when I was working together with our business financial solutions team in Namibia, like I realized that African women are extremely strong, right? So I think, like from our side, we can also learn a lot, like how to be strong, how to be assertive, like how to make our way and things happen. I'm very happy that you were talking about proximity, so I think technology, the telecommunications, and like 5G and all of these factors have made us very close, like Africa doesn't seem so far from Latvia, but I think it's about the awareness, like what we know and how we know, what kind of information do we know about these countries. Let's say when I started to work on this project, I had very, very small knowledge about Namibia, like, and everything when I started to do the research, like it was like claimed as a hydrogen country in Africa, right? Like, and it's very exciting to learn new things, like, and I think through all this project, like with an assistance of Ministry of Foreign Affairs and with an assistance of our colleagues in Namibia and Zambia, we can share this knowledge and understanding about Africa as a growing continent, like with 1.3 billion people, right? It's a huge market, like, and there's if you think about the age of the African people, like it's basically very young market, like with a need to be upskilled, like, and again, this is more about the collaboration, like if you think globally, like in the 5G environment with 5 industrial revolution, like digitalization skills are needed more and more. And I think, like we can collaborate also in this spectrum, like where we learn, like, and you learn, and we are learning together and growing our capacity, like as regard to the human powerhouse, right? Like, so thank you so much, Ambassador. And maybe now we go to the neighboring country, right? Like which doesn't have the sea, doesn't have the access to the ocean. But what I learned throughout the week in the workshops, talking with trade experts, like the chambers of commerce in Zambia, I learned that Zambia is not landlocked country, but Zambia is land-linked country, right? Like, so the Zambia is linking other countries and linking Africa, also to European continent, and also to Latvia. So I would like to give a floor to Jacqueline Habi, the acting head of the Zambian embassy in Stockholm, to talk a bit, like about opportunities for cooperation in Zambia. Jackie, thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor. And I would like to recognize the presence of the Ambassador Charles Josomo, and also I would like to recognize foreign affairs officials that are in the meeting, and also officials from Namibia and Zambia who are present. To start with, I wish to extend my sincere gratitude to you, Eva, and your team for what you're doing to bring up development to Zambia. And me and the embassy here would like to assure you that we are ready to continue working with you. Of course, with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Latvia, we will give you all the support that you need to ensure that development is brought to our country. And I just wish to also just inform the meeting that Zambia and Latvia have enjoyed long-standing diplomatic relations since 1997. And the diplomatic relations between the two countries are based on enhancing political dialogue and exchange visits, intensifying business contracts and cooperation in international organization. Therefore, the launch of the Girls and Women Empowerment through Entrepreneurship in Africa project, which is aimed at opening up new horizons and cooperation opportunities for Zambia by the Latvian Diaspora Experts and Riga Business School, will contribute to enhancing development cooperation between the two countries. And the embassy here in Stockholm is committed, once again, I wish to reiterate that we are committed to work with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in supporting this initiative. And looking at the cooperating opportunities for Zambia and Latvia, I wish to state that one of the main areas that we look forward to engaging with Latvia is in the area of business. You know, as a country, we boast to say we're a peaceful country, as you are aware, where the environment is conducive for businesses to come and invest in our country. And the areas of cooperation, they range from agriculture, tourism, mining, energy, and education. In the energy sector, as you have already started empowering our women, our young people, the girls in particular, we wish to call upon Latvia to encourage, to call upon Latvia actually to maybe if we can partner, Zambia can partner with Latvia in areas of exchange visits or exchange educational programs, because these will really be beneficial to our girls in Zambia. And you know, in Zambia, we have got a saying, an odd saying, which says, when you educate a woman, you educate a family, or rather a nation. This saying was coined so many years back when the women were, you know, disadvantaged. And it has really come to prove that, you know, when you empower women, then you know that you're educating the entire nation. So what you are doing, Professor, is really commendable. And we are looking forward to so many things coming in future, because what you have started, you are now more like empowering the entire nation. And we do believe that if this goes on, in the long run, we'll also have a developed country. And this is our desire as a country, to bring development to our country. And also, I wish to take this opportunity because we do believe that there are also diaspora professionals that are engaged in this. And as you may be aware, Zambia in 2019 launched the diaspora policy, which is aimed at to provide a framework for effective mobilization and engagement of Zambia's diaspora in order to identify and implement mechanisms for harnessing the development potential of the diaspora. And so we wish to request, if it's possible, through this initiative, that even as you are empowering the girls back home, the women, if you can also incorporate our diaspora, because this is a policy that was introduced in 2019. If you could have partnerships with the diaspora, this will also contribute to the economic development of our country. And also, I'd like to also just mention that even as we talk about the opportunities for Zambia to Latvia, we also want to invite businessmen to come and invest in our country. And as you may be aware, every year we hold a trade fair on the Copperbelt province, where the mainstay there is mining. And we want to invite our companies from Latvia to participate in this trade fair to showcase how they can partner with local businesses. And also, on the issue of education, I'm emphasizing that also through our embassy, if it's possible, through the embassy and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, if you can also extend scholarships to the young people in Zambia. We have got a lot of young people in Zambia that would want to further their education. So in this regard, I want to take this opportunity to also ask if we can collaborate in this area so that we can enhance development in our country. Even as I am here presenting, I'm well aware that we have our local partners from Zambia who are in attendance, which is Zambia Development Agency. And I wouldn't want to really just leave it like this because these are experts. Allow me, Professor, if we can allow our experts from Zambia, the Zambia Development Agency, the ones who are implementing this project, to also come in and say one or two things on the cooperating opportunities for Zambia.
Thank you so much, Jackie. I really kind of like, I would actually kind of like love to say that like we already have some potential students from Zambia, Namibia, and Riga Business School. We kind of like, there has been an interest, you know, like, and maybe there will be a new Zambian, Namibian students like soon in Riga Business School. So there will be already kind of like a cooperation happening in this area. But when I look at Zambia, I do understand really, you know, like, and that's something, you know, like where we might not have such a kind of like clear understanding that Africa is not just one continent, right? Like African countries has their own traditions and cultures and like and history, beautiful history. And I think more we spread this information and understanding how beautiful Africa is, and like more we're going to be able also to work and talk about the trade relationships as well. And let's say agriculture, I feel like my country, Latvia, you know, like, and we are very strong in agriculture and forestry, you know, like, and I think there could be quite an interesting cooperation specifically in agricultural technology, assisting, you know, like in helping a Zambian agriculture sector to be more productive and efficient. So thank you so much, Jackie. And Gabriel from Zambian Development Agency, Director of Small and Medium-Sized Companies, like he was the main counterpart for us to help organize the events in Lusaka. Gabriel, would you like to talk about some opportunities for cooperation as well?
Yes, thank you very much, Jacqueline, the acting head at our embassy in Stockholm. And also I want to thank the ambassador, His Excellency, you know, for Namibia, as well as, you know, the members of the Foreign Affairs in Latvia. And then our colleagues also from Zambia here, I have seen Professor Chifanakeni, Dr. Windu Matoka. Yeah, so I would want to actually speak or talk briefly concerning the Zambia Development Agency and how we come in. A number of issues have been mentioned by Jacqueline, and then I would just want to top up here and there. Yeah, there are a number of opportunities that are actually open for collaboration between Zambia and Latvia. And these can border on economic as well as in terms of education. Education, we have a number of private as well as the public universities, which actually could be in a position to collaborate with the universities out there in Latvia. There could be some exchange programs in terms of professors from this end coming that side, or professors from that other side coming also this end, you know, to be able to exchange experiences in terms of even a number of issues, yeah, pertaining to you know, to the academics. Yeah. Then on the business line, like it was said, we actually have 5 priority. I mean, we have priority sectors that are being supported, you know, for investment. Yeah, we have mining, which is our traditional, which gives us a traditional export, that is copper and cobalt. Then we have also the mining, I mean the agriculture, which is the sector that actually we are moving into to ensure that we have more people getting into this sector. So we are also looking for a number of investors to come into the agriculture sector for primary as well as secondary production, so that we are able to add value to most of the products that are coming out from the primary production. Then we're also looking into issues pertaining to energy. We are going, we are looking at renewable energy. So in the region where we are, Zambia receives the highest, at least, amount in terms of the sunlight. The number of hours of sunlight is quite high within Zambia. So the solar projects actually are quite of those areas for investments for people that would want to come to Latvia to invest into Zambia. We're also looking at tourism. We have a very, very good tourism sector, which offers basically all that is required in the tourist arena. And then we have one of the 7 wonders of the world, which is the Victoria Falls, which actually I'm sure Eva and the team that came here should have visited, and they should be our ambassadors, you know, to call upon other Latvian nationals to come and experience, you know, the same. Then apart from that, we're also looking at ICT. ICT is now the sector that is gaining much ground, because we cannot do anything now without much of ICT. So these are actually areas where we may see opportunities for investments for people that may come from there. But now in terms of collaboration, we can forge up, like it was said by our Stockholm acting head, Jacqueline, that we will need to actually collaborate in terms of the on the front of economic cooperation. Economic cooperation actually will help us in terms of looking at how well we should be able to engage foreign nationals economically. Zambia has a very, very good investment opportunities, and the conditions within Zambia for one to invest are quite high. Yeah, and then in the area, like area concerning collaboration in activities of entrepreneurship and the enterprise development in nature, we feel that that area, as we have started this collaboration should not just end up on a one-off activity. We hope as we continue next year, we should be able to have many more activities coming forward to ensure that what Jacqueline said concerning the exchange programs can actually be put into effect, so that we have students from Latvia coming to visit here for education or academic purposes, and then our young ones from here getting onto the other side, so that they are also have the other side of experience. Then I think there is one thing that when we're talking about tourism, which I needed to mention, Zambia is working out a way of actually removing the visa for all those that are in the European Union, for them to come free without having any visa processes. And I think by the time we enter into next year, that will be in effect. So that should encourage a number of people to come from that end, so that we are able to interact and see how best we are able to develop each other. I think I will stop on that end, unless my colleagues Dr. Matoka, if he has one or two things that he can, as one of the experts that he was within the training. And then also we have Professor Pinaro Chifanakeni, who actually has a private university, which was visited by the team that came here. I may also want to come in to say one or two things. Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much, Gabriel. I actually wanted to talk about University of Lusaka, which we visited on our tour in Zambia, and I was very impressed, about Pinalo's personal initiative, and actually kind of very socially responsible initiative, to build University of Lusaka in some, I think it's a decade, it has become the number 34th university in African continent, and Pinalo, are you here? Pinalo?
Yes, Liv, I am.
Hi,
Good
Pinalo.
afternoon.
Yes.
Hi.
So you built the University of Lusaka from scratch, and now you're number 34. And I hope, we're going to be able also to involve you as a partner in our She Rebuilt the World project going forward.
Yeah, I think that is something that would be glad to participate in. And when I looked at what you are trying to achieve for saying, let's build a woman, like what our Excellency Jacqueline Haven has said, when you actually provide everything for the woman, it means you have built the world. And that's what your project is actually looking at, and would love to be part of that. And I was also excited to hear from the representative from Namibia, the cooperation between Namibia and Zambia, and then we bring in Latvia. I think that's something that will be so useful for the development of our two nations. And like you rightly heard from our ambassador, she mentioned that Zambia is a landlocked country, but land-linked, well positioned, and it's a very, very good area, very peaceful place for investors, and all that which comes along with that. And on the side of education, I think we are equally excited that we could have exchange programs with the universities in Latvia and Zambia. And not only Zambia and Latvia, but also Namibia. And I'm sure I mentioned to yourself that we've got quite a good number of students from Namibia who are studying the programs in medicine and law at University of Lusaka. So we are excited about these programs.
Thank you so much, Pinalo. And just a concluding mark about the opportunities, and then we go and talk about the project itself. What I was, and actually I was alerted by my colleague Claudio Rivera from Riga Business School. When we stayed in Lusaka in a hotel, we noticed actually that the network coverage was provided by a Latvian company, Micro, right? So we already have some Latvian companies providing services in Zambia, and then hopefully there will be more and more trade and business cooperation going forward. Thank you so much, Pinalo. But I would like to actually focus a little bit more on the project itself, as I described, project is a little bit complicated, quite holistic, that was the first pilot project for us to do it in Africa. I think, as my colleague Dirk said in one of the meetings, that it was too successful. Basically, that was a curse of ours, that it was too successful, that we did achieve the good things, and hopefully we put the good ground for next successes and next cooperation, and also raising awareness of what is happening in African continent to Latvian companies, Baltic companies, and also Northern European companies. But I want to give the floor to my colleagues in Business Financial Solutions in Namibia, Kauna, and just to make some reflections on the project itself, and potential cooperation we are going forward with this project. Kauna? Hi, Kauna.
Hi, Eva, and good afternoon, Your Excellencies, Ambassador in Helsinki, the representative of the Zambian Embassy. Thank you so much for meeting you, and pleasure to see a lady, acting High Commissioner or acting Ambassador, and our colleagues from Zambia. I think just as some reflection from our side, Eva, as was mentioned, there's really a lot of collaboration already happening between Namibia and Zambia. And it's a great coincidence that when this program was selected to be implemented, it was focusing on these two countries that are naturally aligned, but also seeking to find greater collaboration. Just in the past month, there has been 2 state visits between the 2 presidents. The Zambian president was here in Namibia with a SWITEC meeting, and I think a lot of focus was presented in the opportunities around the maritime and the logistics sectors. And then obviously our president followed up with a visit to his counterpart about 2 weeks ago or a week ago. So it hopefully presents scale in terms of what the Latvian government might see as opportunities of collaborating. And as Ambassador Joseph highlighted, just in terms of what the common denominators are between Namibia and Latvia, those similarities or needs identification could be extended also to look at what actually is common amongst the 3 countries and what are the opportunities. I think what is obviously most very clear is the fact that as was mentioned by Sir Dilsme, if I can pronounce his name right, there's great technological and industrial capabilities with Latvia. So even though you're also a young nation, I think your industrial foundation is much stronger than Namibia and Zambia, and we see great opportunities for those 2 countries to leapfrog into playing the rightful place in the Southern African market. And if you really look at the economics, whether it's agriculture, whether it's technology, whether it's infrastructure needs, whether it's green energy, I think the African market presents the greatest growth opportunities. And between these 2 countries, I think if we can find collaborations to impact on a greater scale, and by so doing, really create a business case that can be scaled up in Africa. I'm not speaking for my political leadership, but they've already confirmed that there is definitely appetite. And I recall my ambassador said it's imagination that can really limit us. And the bootcamp really presented great opportunities, I think, in terms of outcome, where people were creatively looking at what is possible. But again, if you look at how to realize those ideas, you need a lot of R&D, you need academia to be part of the process. And then you need potential technological partners that Latvia can provide. But again, if you look at what the market presents in the greater Baltic countries, if you find technological partnerships between Namibia and Latvia, or Zambia and Latvia, obviously that presents an access market through the Baltic countries, not just Latvia, but the Baltic countries. So we're very excited to be supportive of the initiatives that the governments might find worth collaborating on. As a business agents in Namibia, that's focused really not just in terms of market access assessment, but policy influence. We also operate very much on the ground in terms of working with entrepreneurs. And I believe that with yourselves, Eva, and the partnerships that you bring to the table, we should be a good catalyst to bring impactful investment and reduce those Gini coefficients for the benefits of not just the African countries, but also obviously as trade promotion and investment increases in Latvia, the Gini coefficients in both countries or all 3 countries could improve. But let me also allow, maybe if there is still scope for some comments, allow my colleague to come in, Dr. Kangombe, who is the CEO of BFS, the advisory firm that under which this was implemented. But it was a most enjoyable collaboration and pilot program, and we really look forward to a greater scope of support and interventions that we can be part of.
Thank you so much, Kana. I think I can say it from all behalf of all our team, that it was a great pleasure. And it is, and hopefully it is going to be a great pleasure to work with you in the future. So thank you so much, Anna. Anna?
Yes, thank you, Eva. And it's always great to talk after the excellencies have spoken because they usually establish the protocol. So I would just like to follow those and greet everybody on the call. I know there are people joining us from different time zones. So just in addition to what Kauna have said, maybe I'll just add on the workshop series that we had, which were really attended by people from the public sector, private sector, and in the academia as well. And they were quite really interactive sessions that we had. And we spoke about partnerships with universities, and we were very specific about the areas of collaboration. And we also identified those areas where collaboration can actually start right away. We also saw some opportunities related to the exploration of industries such as metal fabrication. And we actually, the Latvian team shared with us the examples of reskilling people, which was really excellent and something to explore further, the reskilling of the labor. And also, just in addition to what came out from the workshop series, the delegation that visited Namibia also had a really great meeting with the Namibia Green Hydrogen Association. And there's already some sharing of information that has commenced in that area. So we have come up with very specific areas, and we'll be able to share those. And it's been really fantastic being part of the program, and we look forward to the continuation. And also during the workshop series, there was an also exchange between the different ministries with the representative from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, which was an opportunity that they would not have gotten, because a lot of information that they were searching in preparation for the political consultations that were planned the week after the delegation was there, they couldn't really find a lot of information, and that was an opportunity. So it was a great exchange, and I can say that we have made friends in Latvia. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anna. And I think from our side, we can also say that we have made friends in Namibia, and we can also in Lusaka and Zambia. I think it's also kind of like how I see this project, and personally, I'm very pleased that we are talking about the stakeholder engagement, right? Where NGOs, where corporates, enterprises are coming together, and helping the government to create these networks and to create the cooperation. And I think hopefully we're going to be very instrumental, in building these alliances between Latvia, Baltic states, and also African countries. Thank you so much, Kauna. Thank you so much, Anna. But I want to hear also, I think it's important to hear also from our side, Jits Greškans, our SLV board member. He was also in Namibia, and I think he was in charge of facilitating these workshops. Jits, what are your insights for the future?
Good afternoon, everyone. It's really a pleasure seeing all of you, your excellencies, colleagues, representatives of Ministry of Foreign Affairs. First of all, I would like to start with extending my thanks to everyone who was involved in organizing and making the first part of the project happening. I really was not sure to what I have committed myself, but after coming back, it's today it's 10 days anniversary since my return, and I have to admit that it hasn't been a day when I haven't spoken about my visit to Africa, about Namibia, about what I've learned and opportunities, what I've seen there. And it's very much to follow what Anna mentioned, that it's nice that there is officials and politicals who setting the floor, but it's us on ground who are doing the job and making things happen. And therefore, right now, basically awaiting what might be the first cooperation projects where we could start delivering some practical results. Because during workshops we were speaking about the economic transition from middle low level income to higher, what needs to be done, what is horizontal diversification, which industries we should maybe focus and where to extend. We spoke a lot about the e-governments, e-digital services, e-solutions, and there is plenty what we can provide. And again, the government role is instrumental, because they are the ones which are setting the targets, and we just need to help. This is exactly what I mentioned at the workshops, that investors are coming to help countries introduce their strategic visions and achieve their strategic goals. They're not going there just for the sake of going. They're willing to help, engage, and of course also get some revenues and returns. And thirdly, I would like to say that at the workshops we had a number of stakeholders, and each and every one of them is having a role to play. And again, it's up to their priorities where they want to focus, whether it's a Namibian Investment Development Agency, whether it's Namibian Chamber of Commerce, whether it's Namibian University. We had a good conversation with Namibian Development Agency, not to mention also Namibian Hydrogen Association. And I can only agree that like the colleagues mentioning, Latvia might be a stepping stone to Baltics and European Union. We and colleagues I'm speaking, we see Namibia and Zambia as a stepping stone into the South Africa at the beginning, and further to the whole African country. And just again, the sky is the limit. We just need to focus, prioritize, and preferably look for first quick wins, because this will help and become as a rolling ball, engaging more and more people. So I'll stop here. Really great being part of the project. Thank you, Kauna. Thank you, Anna, for all your support. Without you, the project would not be as successful as it is up till now. And really looking forward also to cooperate with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Latvia to see how we can further develop what has been achieved. Thank you. Thank you, Ieva, for leading all this.
Thank you so much, Dirk. But remember that Dirk said it like, our success is a curse for us, you know, like, so next time around, you know, like we have set so high the standards, right? So like we can't do any kind of like different, right? Like we have to go and be so good for going forward as well. Thank you so much, Dirk. And now I want to move to Zambia, you know, like to the second country where we were, and I personally was there. And just before I give the floor, and again, because we want to empower women, I'm going to give the floor first to Alina and then our national expert, Windu. But just a quick note, you know, like when we were talking, I was conducting the workshop on country branding in Lusaka, you know, like, and talking with chambers of commerce and like SME representatives. And what we came up with as a very, very important part for country branding for Zambia, not just that Zambia is a land-linked country, but these are the how to say, the nicest people, you know, like I have met, you know, like so welcoming, you know, like, and so nice. And that's again, you know, like representation for me, Africa as a very welcoming, you know, like continent, you know, like Namibia, of course, Kauna and Anna, you know, like you did great job, you know, like, and of course, you know, like our colleagues, Alina and Claudia from Riga Business School, who conducted, you know, like their workshops in Lusaka, and also Gabriel and Windu and Albert, acting director of Zambian Development Agency, who were really instrumental in making it happen, right? So Alina, so floor is yours, your insights about Lusaka.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, of course, I would like to join to all of the welcome words, because of course the success of this project was a huge team effort from all of the sides. And I believe that this was really a bit of complicated project since this was the first time something like that was done. And thank you so much, Eva, for putting all of this together, and thanks to all of the involved parties. As Eva already mentioned, I was in Zambia together with her and Claudia Rivera, who is our bachelor programs director. And I was leading several sessions in the boot camp for young women, mainly about problem identification, about ideation, business model canvas, and also about the marketing. And when I worked with girls, I was actually surprised by the strength of their motivation. It could really be seen that they valued this opportunity, and I believe that they took the most out of it. They were very active, engaged, they were asking questions, and we had great discussions even during the lunch breaks. And I believe that even though this was actually quite short time that we spent together, we established deeply personal connections with them. And some of the participants even showed us around Zambia, which again proves the point of Eva about how welcoming, positive people are there. And I believe that this is something that we Latvians can really learn from you. Because this feeling of warmth, of welcoming, this is something which really inspired, I believe, us. And also I was really impacted by the stories that we saw, because we also had an opportunity to get to know better one of our participants, Samantha Lukonde, who has her own NGO, and she is helping young women who have become pregnant at a very young age, and she is helping them to return back to the school as well. She's working with other young kids who are at risk of dropping out of the school. And on our last day in Lusaka, we actually got an opportunity to meet those kids. And this was something very emotional for me, because of course we know about the issues that are present in countries, but it's a different feeling to see this by yourself and to interact with these people. And I believe that by empowering these women, by educating them, we can really make a huge impact. And I am super proud and happy that Latvia has such an initiative. And I believe that it shows that we as a small country, we can make great impact. And seeing that people really value this and that this can help them to improve their lives, I think that's a great feeling to have. And also the ideas of the girls, they were really, focused on social aspects, which again shows that by investing, by sharing our knowledge with African girls, we can help to transform the economy and, boost the growth. And I believe that these girls will again give back to their communities. And of course, I also believe that this is a great opportunity for young people and for both sides, not only for African women, but also, of course, students of Riga Business School, because, of course, currently we're living in a very global world. And I believe that this is a huge advantage that those young people have, that they can work together in so international teams, and they can experience these different cultures. They can learn from each other. They can share their contacts with each other. And I think that this is also a great beginning for business opportunities between them. So I hope that in the next semester, we will have a lot of motivated global teams. I think that our students are also very excited about this, because when we came back, there was a huge interest from our students, for me and Claudio, to share our story about Africa. And I know that the African girls are also very excited about this. We're still in touch with them. So I'm just looking forward to the next semester, and hope that some great ideas will be created during their studies at Riga Business School. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Alina. And I know it's a little bit of a generational gap, but when I look at Alina, I see the future leaders, right? The future women leaders. And I think one of the great things from this project, if we can take away, that would be the chance for these young female next generation leaders to connect, with the global leader pool, right? And I can understand that, when we look at ourselves, we look at the world from the privileged situation, right? So, and what Alina described about the girls, and the pregnant girls, and all these NGOs, I think once we realize that that the world is different, right? So we become more empathetic, we become more sustainable in our leadership practices, right? And we become impactful leaders, not just leaders who are going for the making profit, right? But as Alina said, Namibia, Zambian girls are mostly focusing on social causes as problems to solve, right? And I think this link, we in the scope of this project, with the help of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, if we can link these new leadership generations together, and make them more empathetic, that could be also a very good cause. We could see it as a great outcome for the project. And thank you so much, Alina. It was a great pleasure to talk and work with you in Lusaka. But let's go back to Lusaka, and to our national expert, Mindu Matoka. He was helping us, to arrange the bootcamp. He was also participating with workshops in bootcamp, and he was also helping me to cover some of the part of the workshops and in working with trade and development specialists in Lusaka, Zambia. Windu, would you like to say something?
Thank you very much, Eva, and please allow me to recognize the presence of their Excellencies, Ambassador Charles Joseph, and our own acting head in Stockholm, Madam Jacqueline Havene. Let me just simply say, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure to be part of this platform this afternoon. After all these great minds have spoken, I really don't know what it is that I can say, but please allow me to emphasize the fact that the Girls and Women Empowerment through Entrepreneurship in Africa project came at the right time. I'm sure my colleagues from Zambia, Professor Chifanakeni, Gabi, and Ambassador Havene are aware that last year, our president decided to create a Ministry of Small and Medium Enterprises, something that has never happened before since we got our independence 58 years ago. So I think this goes to show that there is recognition in terms of the importance of small and medium enterprises in our country, particularly amongst the women folk, because Gabi and I have worked for small industries, development programs and agencies for the last 32 years, and we realize that women, if properly empowered, if properly supported, can contribute a great deal to national economic development. Now, for a country like Zambia that has a lot of water bodies endowed with mineral deposits, we've got forests and huge chunks of land, wildlife, good climatic conditions, and a very stable political climate, people would not expect to see poverty and high unemployment levels. It's a contradiction that in the midst of all these resources, we have a lot of people wallowing in abject poverty. It pains a lot of people. So the coming of this particular project was actually at the right time. And like my younger friend Alina has said, the participants, both in the boot camps and in the workshops, were very, very excited about this. I think we have planted a seed that is going to germinate, it is going to blossom and bear fruit. So I can only call upon you, Eva, with your team, and of course our representatives, the ambassadors there, to try and help take this project to another level. There's a lot that can be done, and if we support these girls and women entrepreneurs in the two countries, Namibia and Zambia, and of course, forge very, very strong links with countries like Latvia, I think we can go a long way. It was very exciting, and I'm hoping that going forward, when you come back, you go back to Namibia, you come back to Lusaka, it will not just be based in the two cities, Windhoek and Lusaka. You know, a lot of activities happen in these two cities because by their nature, these are capital cities for the two nations. We should think in terms of the girl out there in the remotest parts of the two countries, Namibia and Zambia. So going forward and resources permitting, let us have a situation where we can have boot camps. Speaking on behalf of Zambia, let's have boot camps in all the 10 provinces so that we stimulate entrepreneurship. We show the world that it can be done through the girls and women. So it was very exciting, and would like to thank you for coming, and we are looking forward to working with you so that we continue to uplift the standards of living for the poor people in our country. Poor, not because we do not have the resources, but poor because perhaps they lack some of these initiatives. So we support you, we salute you, and may God grant us favor even as we move forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Windu, for such encouraging words. And I think what is left for me, because we are running out of time, I think what is left for me is, first of all, to thank you all for making it happen, because actually, believe it or not, we as a team have been working on that, I think, since August, so to make it happen, thanks to, and I would like to also thank you specifically to Latvian Ministry of Foreign Affairs, who have been so cooperative, collaborative, and I would like to thank personally Ilse Kociņa Gavrilova, from Development Cooperation Unit, who was and hopefully will be our counterpart, as efficient, as helpful as you were. Thank you so much. Of course, ambassadors, Charles, Jackie, thank you so much for all the help you did. And of course, the team itself on the ground in Lusaka and also in Windhoek, and also our team, people and experts from Latvia. Just to say that that's not the beginning, that's not the end. Actually, I think it's more kind of like a beginning, because we are concluding just one specific activity of this 2-year project. And next year, as of January to April, for 4 months, the girls can be met and trained and talked with in Windhoek and also in Lusaka. In October, we're going to meet them online in Riga Business School special entrepreneurship training program, together with professors and coaches, from Riga Business School. And then in May, we are going back to Lusaka and Windhoek, for a closing ceremony, and hopefully we will have also a network of financial backers, who are going to be able to listen to the pitches of the girls, of the ideas, and also maybe, we're going to be able to attract also some seed money. But if everything goes as we have planned, and if the project is successful in the future, we would also like to continue that because one-off thing, it's nice, but I think we also have to think about sustainable, continuous cooperation between Latvia, the Baltic countries, and also Namibia and Zambia, and also hopefully, more in Pan-African level. So I would like to thank you so much for all the hard work, and for today. And I hope to meet you very soon. Thank you so much.
Eva, if I may, I really want to thank you on behalf of everybody for your courageous identification of this opportunity and for driving the process and keeping us on our toes to make sure that we can tick the boxes in terms of timeline, but also checking in with everybody all the time. I think if you didn't have the foresight to see the possibility of this opportunity, we wouldn't be here today sharing this experience and celebrating, a partnership that speaks to not just bettering our individual organizations, but hopefully the people on the ground in our respective countries. So I want to applaud you on that. And I also want to just again thank my ambassador for supporting us and guiding us on the process. And and supporting the foundation that Eva runs in making sure that it can happen in Namibia.
Okay, thank you so much. But I think I'll persist that this is a teamwork, right? Among institutions, among businesses, and among us people, right? Thank you so much, and all the best.
Thank you, and good luck.
Thank you. All the best.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.